Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, the ruler of the underworld, and today we'll be reacting to the newest chapter of My Hero Academia, chapter 393, titled A Girl's Ego. Almost in at 400. I guess we're gonna be. I wonder if we're gonna end to all of the honest all of these other stories like Toga and those random escaped out as prisoners in these couple of chapters since you'd think that chapter 400 would have some kind of like an epic, confrontation or fight between either All Might and All For One or Gaku and Deku. And, if you want to stretch a bit of, depending on how long this fight with Toga is still going to last, you'd think, maybe stretch a couple of chapters to have like just those villains be defeated. I mean, it may not be the most entertaining stuff, but I feel like you could probably scratch it down for a few, chapters. I mean, you can still include some of the little ones, but just saying, I kind of wonder if we're gonna be setting up the battle between what kind of epic thing we're gonna get in chapter 400. But regardless, we start this chapter off in a more proper flashback, as we have sometime before the Paranormal Liberation front arc. I'm guessing a little bit after the whole Chai Chai Chisaki, that Yakuza arc, uh, where we have this confrontation, which is we ended off last chapter about twice wondering about Toga's villain name. As if from this point of view, twice asking her, "Say Toga, don't you want a villain name of your own?" As then we have Kompraska as he's checking out his new robotic armor bit. It's like, oh, indeed. As then we have Spinner going to Shigaraki as Shigaraki's playing a game, Game Boy. As he, I used to think that's what Game Boy. I don't know. He's playing on some controller. As Spinner's like, come to think of it, you and the boss are the only ones here without a villain name, since they don't know. Since the League of Legends does not know that Tomoe Shigaraki is not his real name. It's basically his villain name, but as far as they know, it's his real name, which technically I think that is supposed to be the idea, since Shigaraki is All For One, and One Falls the humans, not the quirks. Brother's family name, but I get the idea. As they have twice saying, let's name ya, doesn't matter. Not sure that's the actual name suggestion or just the way how he just realized that he doesn't trick it with that personality thing, but it's both works just as well. As they have Toga being all puffy, he's like, no, thank you. As they have Copper saying, a villain name adds a bit of class. Being dudes. I don't think certain. As they have Spirit fire up on them like Vampires Carmilla? As if by saying suck licky tongue. Okay, that name is never not being chosen by Toga. That what were you thinking twice? As Toga's like, no, and she shakes her head. As you have Dobby saying, stupid. That's just some crowd pleasing crap, a holdover from before the quirk registration system. As then we have twice popping up, be like, you want to talk, Dobby? Whose real name we still just still don't know, because again they didn't discover Dobby's real name until he exposed to the entire world, so it makes sense to make fun of that. And in the unofficial translations, I think they even mentioned that Dobby just means cremation. Is just another way of saying cremation. I'm not sure if it's like a different language or anything, but yeah, Dobby cremation. That's I think his quirk ability. As then we have Shiraki being a bit of a word of wisdom. I guess that's what you get when you play video games. As he explains to everyone, they are basically used to be no difference between. There used to be no difference between heroes and villains. One theory says the alias stuff started when you have an anonymous enemy and needed to call them something. From there, some decided to adapt those very nicknames to hide their identities. So basically, the hero and villain names in My Academia are one of those things where you're never really certain how it started, but you could get like some lines. Like I remember in one stupid demon exam or whatever, where I had to like had I had to describe something or one of the greatest debates that demons have, and then it was like there was like no real evidence. Like the only thing was like some time where it became more common to use, but nothing major. Like you could just vaguely estimate. And that's similar to the villain hero names where you can vaguely estimate on when they were started off and the reasons why they were started. It was just kind of like, oh, I don't know who you are, but this person cost us a boatload of our supplies. Let's call him Boat Stealer, and then that guy just remained Boat Stealer or something. As they were Shiragi was saying, assuming another's identity, like a new skin, was a matter of survival. At some point, they went all in with code names ripped straight from comic books. According to this theory, it all started with people announcing themselves by those aliases. That's why the world turned into a comic book. True, that is in their context. Like sometimes we forget, but these things do exist in this world. Like this isn't like one of those things where you're like, do they have these versions for themselves? Like what would they versions of that be? No, they had that. It's just they now they decide to like adapt that and start using it normally. As anyways, they have Shiraki being like, anyway, I'm good. The names can be cool and all, but eh. So yeah, he's like, again, he knows that's not his real name, but he just likes to use it because like, he doesn't need it. But you know, it's kind of cool. He likes it as well. As they have talking like, yay, this is why I joined the league. And then we have a flashback to where she was talking to Kashi Sakai. And she's like, oh no, actually, it was actually I think introduction when we first got introduced to Toga and Dabi in the manga, where she introduced herself to Shirake, and we have that flashback, and she says, "Life is too hard," as they have this like very big grin on her face after this, and she's like, "I want to live as Himiko Toga." So yeah, which is also I think it's also contrast her smile now and her how she's is in the actual storyline right now as we cut back to the present. Which again, because I really do appreciate how we got this flashback because one thing that I feel like we've been like not missing, but there's been less of reasons like this, like kind of family dynamic the legal villains had. Like even Dobby, who they like was felt well, he wasn't like the most in the league. I mean, he's definitely like more of a keeping to himself and thinking more like I want to destroy Endeavor type of thing. He was still like the part of the family, like the uncle who doesn't visit that much, but you know, you're still family, so you see each other time to time. So it's seeing this is really nice. I feel a lot of problems with modern villains is the fact that they a lot of times just feel kind of like superficial threats where you have to question what do you guys do on your daily basis? Do you like just sit in a corner until you get an opponent to fight or until you have your scheme to rule the world or something? It's why I appreciate like the last episode of the last episode of Bleach as far as in Blood Rock, where we had like that moment where the Bambis were meeting together and talking. I mean, yeah, Pixie of talking was sick, but you know, at least it's something. Unlike something like in Black Clover, where I have to question what the hell do half of these characters do? Like those interests and hobbies they state, they actually do have, or just some it'd be like funny. Oh, this guy who tried to destroy and kill people in the Hot Kingdom. Well, he's recently taken on bakery. Like you know, it's like one of those fine, but you barely get to see anything from it. But anyways, then we have this Tuoga, whatever they were calling herself, and she goes there to for Uchaka. She rears her blade back as the blood is coming from Uchako's stomach area. If she'll be able to have children in the future is questionable, but hell, at least they won't have to worry about that in the future with Daku. As we have Tuoga screaming, "Your rules tell you to pity me, don't you dare!" As they have Chaco reeling from the pain as there's twists going around. Where it looks like the Chaco is planning to do like a sumo wrestler's move. Not entirely, but it kind of looks like she's going for that sumo suplex. But unfortunately, that's not what Chaco does, and she just turns Toga around. And she tries like, it's not pity as she kicks Toga away as Toga is spinning around in the floating, as Toga's like, she touched me, but if I'm floating, so what? No risk there! And then she, I guess, psychically commands her uh, Toga twice army to like start moving like a fucking waterfall, which I'm still not understand how that is functional. I know these guys are supposed to be they turn into mud when they are too much damage, but is that explanation? They're just destroying one another so quickly they're able to like move like water when they're in their mud forms or something, and it just looks like them all just moving. The human bodies are moving like water or something, as if Toga screaming, just, you know just the right things to say, hmm? But in the end, you'll toss me into a cage on death row, won't you? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is very likely. Although, to be fair, Toga, the way how the League of Villains are going, it seems more likely you guys are just gonna die in some very brutal ways. Like, I mean, Kapaska not, but like, Spinner is a potato. Dobby should by all means not be alive anymore. Uh, who knows what's going to happen? I can honestly see the Shiraki killing himself, self to kill All For One as well, just to get like one final laugh. And you, I have no idea how you gonna end, but I would not be surprised with something very brutal. Anyways, they have Toga uh, got falling in the air, and some of the twices are coming towards her for assistance. As they see Toga's twice transformation completely depleting, as we have Toga screaming, "Or you'll murder me outright, just like they did to Jin." Which is honestly, I think this is the what's actually going to happen. Like, I'm sorry, Toga, but it seems more like you're just gonna die. Like, I don't want to be cruel, and I like you and all, but your death seems to be the most certain thing to happen. Anyways, then we have screaming again with completely losing her twice transformation. Like, it's win or lose, live or die. A winner takes all. Survival match. No going back now. As they have told Choco like crying from the pain that she's feeling and bleeding and all that, and she's like, that seems like the obvious truth for us both. As they have Toga saying, "It's if it's really not pity, then it's just your ego talking, and if our egos are clashing, then as Toga says, use Sandman's Legion. You're that meat, hero." So as she says Legion, we see a bunch of Twices, as we see some possessed looking Tsuyu, possessed looking Chaco, Pixie Bop, which doesn't look good for her survival chances, as well as I think Kame Roots there as well. As Toga's form is like completely depleted to be almost like nudity wise. I guess they're now letting Hikoshi be more into that exposure since it's the final arc, people. Let's be at least a little bit realistically about clothes on. As we also see some eyeballs around her. As then we cut to a shot where we see all of them like struggling, like we see Jiro uh, getting, I guess, covered in the pressure from all twices going around her, Kame Woods, Tiger, Tsuyu, Pixie Buff, who I'm not sure if she's still alive. We see some other background heroes doing it, and I think we see a restrained Nomu there as well. We see the Tiger guy, the guy who had that story arc with Gang Walker when they were playing baseball, and I think that woman that All For One stole her quirk from her. I guess she somehow managed to still be alive. Then we get a panel of showing how overlarging that is, where it literally. Okay, this was said multiple times where Twice can, like, if he wanted to, he could probably engulf the entire Japan country or something, and yeah, that's exactly what seems to be happening right now. Like, not entire country, of course. Like, we're not gonna get to that stage, but like, yeah, entire forest seem to be engulfing, or that might just be forest, but I don't know. It could be either or. I actually think it is them because we see, I think, some buildings there. So yeah, we are getting everything in golf for like cities and well, look, I don't want to say cities, but like entire cities seems to be getting golf. As then we see some of the news reporters that were a couple of chapters back saying they were gonna be filming and everything. As one of them is like, have you ever seen such a thing? Crooks will grow stronger with every generation until no one can hope to control them. Over the years, we've often heard whispers of that doomsday theory. Well, here it is, coming to a head today. As he sees that, as then we see like Toga. I'm not sure. I'm not certain if this is a real Toga because it just seems like we see like a bunch of other Togas all there as they're all nude as well as one Toga that seems like she's also supposed to be a mixture of Dobby and her because her bottom kind of looks like Dobby more than her. But anyways, we see them all like kind of being all over the place as they're like kind of golfing everything. As they see, I'm gonna see the real Toga. They're staring at Ochako. As then we have, I think Ochako saying this one. Actually, I think it's probably the news report. I look at the bubbles again. Yeah, the news report like this one girl. Her emotions are transforming the very world. As then we have Toga screaming, "Go on, crush her!" And then we see an army of twice. We see Jiro. We see all the heroes as well as the Nomu and all those copies now going out to strike her down, which is the. Okay, I mean, I'm kind of disappointed that the only thing about this copying normal thing that has brought us is like this, uh, like one little wave. But you know, I got the general idea as they're all going towards Ochako. As Ochako uses go ahead martial arts, and she just like and I don't want to say she like sends them away, but she just kind of uses them to like push them all aside so she can use her float ability so they can all be in the air. As then we have some of them saying, "So what if we are floating? There is no damage done since Ochako cannot damage them," which is true. And then also, I feel that would be more beneficial to Twice copies than to anyone else because now Twice can just start making them more in the air and will just make them more. As they have Choco saying to Toga and everyone, well, I'm assuming to Toga specifically, she's like, exactly. My zero gravity isn't a power for hurting people. Since you know zero gravity cannot do anything. Like I mean, there's an option for hurting, but it's not like anything major. Which I feel like is just to kind of remind everyone who's like, oh, she's not doing anything powerful or any kind of damage or anything. Well, yeah, because her power cannot damage people in itself. It has to have special conditions to hurt people. But regardless, we then have Toga just look at her and furious that she remembers Ochako saying to her, I would never feel happy about dropping a person out of the sky. So, yeah, referring to how Toga killed Curious with his power. As there we have Ochako be like, ugh. I think she's just from the pain of the movement. I guess she's like bleeding from the stomach area. As then we have talking about what she said earlier to Choco. If it's really not pity, then it's just your ego talking. Or that might be just Choco remembering it. I think it's just more likely. As they have for Choco using her wires like, ego, huh? You may be right. You intentionally killed people, and I can't wipe your slate clean. Yet when I see your face, it's like you had no choice. I figure there must have been a reason, and the reason simply being the fact that no one was treating it correctly. Everyone just got like said stop it, and yeah, it's going to come to a boiling point at some point. As we have which are kind of moving around trying to capture the real Toga. As then she has the flashback in the previous war, as Ochako was like, cause that day when the world got turned upside down, what I said made you look so sad. Not really the boiling eyes out, but you can see the sadness in like the subtle sense. And then have another contrast to that with Toga's angry, furious face. She kind of looks more like a wild beast, in all honesty, with how angry she is. And she screams, "You are the sad one!" Trying to refuse it. Then we have Choco screaming, and she's again like it seems like she's getting jumped by all the twice, and she screams, "We both were. Listen to me, Himiko Toga," since which is true, like both of them were sad about the whole thing that was happening, although for different reasons. Anyways, then we cut to the for Australian Cup panel where we had Ochako watching Tsuyu. Well, we have Toga watching with Tsuyu and Ochako. As Ochako says, you seriously scared the crap out of me when we first met because I didn't understand you back then. One wasn't really that you didn't understand her back then. It was just the fact that she literally jumped out, and you have someone who isn't supposed to be there, bashing on nice and wearing a self-admitted not cute mask. So it's not like exactly you wouldn't be scared. As then we have Joseon, we get a flashback panel of that face that she was making when Toga was talking about love and all that. Which I was like, given the situation, how could you grin like that? Such a genuine smile. Is that Toga coming down a bit from her furious expression? It's like, shut up. As then we have that flashback at the beginning of the chapter, or at least connected at the beginning of the chapter, and she remembers Jin is saying, "You live as Himiko Toga. Sounds great. Drop all the bodies these you like, and become whoever the hell you want." Which now makes me think it was a little bit after the whole thing, although I feel like it's meant to be before the Paranormal Ambition Fund because it was still in that building. Although timeline wise, there's that second movie where they were still in a building, even though at that point they already had what they needed. So maybe it was like a temporary place to just sit down and sleep a bit before we went back to the main base. Since kind of record to just let your new leaders and a good chunk of your commanders to just be in that place. But who knows? Maybe there were some people there on standby to supply them with some stuff. Anyways, there we have. Toga remembering what people told her to stop making that creepy smile. As Toga screams, "Just die! Why won't you die already?" As Choco screaming to Toga, "I know I pushed you away that one time, and maybe this world isn't a place you can be yourself," which is true. As you have determined expression from Choco screams, as he screams continues to screaming as Toga members want to do just your ego. As then we have for Toga saying, actually Choco members like, "I know all that yet even so." As I think we see Toga. I think we see. I'm not sure if this is Toga or is it a Choco. I kind of want to say it's a Choco just being like kind of pushed upwards with all those copies. And we see the flashbacks we got with the Choco. As then we have Choco be happy about that moment when Eel Man beat the villain. They were all smiling at everyone. As Choco's there like, I observed civilians happy, the Eel Man happy. And they have Choco saying so many happy faces in my time as she then turns around. As then like symbolically she looks at Toga, who's like dejected and alone as a little girl. I'm assuming this is the two. I'm thinking that these two are supposed to be the same age and it's like a symbolic appearance, but there's a bit of a size difference, and I do believe Toga's a year or two older than Choco. But regardless, we see them like staring at each other. Then we have some flashback or panel of past with the Class 1A with Aku, Ojiro, and Ashido as Ochako screams, "But being able to declare that you love and do it with your whole face, well, that smile of yours is so perfect that I'm honestly jealous. You hear me?" Since I mean, say what you want about how the appearance looks like, but it is genuine love. Like it's not like just like evil grin. It's meant to be. That's how she looks happy. And she says that Ojama is also screaming, which I'm guessing is supposed to be admitting all that. As she's covered with blood and mud at this point. It's probably gonna be mud in the anime, honestly. But yeah, I'm thinking there's supposed to be some blood as well. As they have Toga's expression going more teary-eyed and angry and pissed off. As then we have her remember how people said to her, like some sort of deviant, as in her eyes are starting to get covered with water to and everything. As the talk was in like, and I don't want to pretend I never saw your amazing smile. As then she uses, as in a bunch of these twice copies are going towards her even closer, or pushing them away and all. And the chocolate then uses float as all of the twice copies and the non and the combinations and the weird things. Since again we see like one Twice copy that has like Toga's bigger but in her hair, but the rest is like To is just supposed to be twice, just all floating around everywhere. As then we have the twice copies overreact with, I'm floating, Baroka never touched me! Instead of Jiro looking in the air, as Jiro's like it's spreading between bodies that came into contact. Similar to how Garaki's decay spread, and that's what Ochakonai used. She spread her flowing to everything that was in contact, which now makes me think everyone should like technically be flying. Like this whole area should like legitimately be in the air right now. If that logic, but I'm assuming just supposed to be the Tawai's copies in anyone. Again, I'm not answering if that's a good or a worse thing because I mean, an army of twice copies all in the air, floating, and probably making more of themselves if this battle continues will just, be so much that they will eventually they'll start pushing down or everything's just gonna go down. And if they just kill each other, it will be like, well, mine would just continue to go into air, but still, I feel like it would be a problem if they use their form. But I guess, that is the best way to deal with that. Like, just kind of have this giant, massive army go into the air so they can, into the stratosphere so they're not pose a threat to anyone. Then we cut to the new super again, like, this one girl, look as if Ochako screaming again, Toga, she says, look, I can't erase all your crimes or approve of everything you've done, but if any part of you still feels like talking to me, you can have a lifetime's worth of my blood. Which, to be fair, is only gonna be a few months until she gets her death sentence and ends it. Well, at that point, you should probably just wish for spend the rest of her days just drinking Toga, Ochako's and Deko's blood, if we'll be honest ourselves. But regardless, I get the sentiment. And so Ochako again screams that she's still crying a lot, and she kind of goes for like holding Toga's hand with, so let's have that chat about romance, Himiko Toga. As we cut back to that symbolic friend, that symbolic uh, child version of the duo, and so Ochako goes up to Toga, stretches out her hand, in similar way how her hand is covered with blood right now, to Toga, who's like holding an animal or stuffed animal or that animal, Tyria, so Toga kind of gives Toga's be like, here, bite my hand. So yeah. Now, is this going to mean that this is the end chapter? And yeah. So does this mean this is the end of the fight and the next chapter is gonna be an epilogue? Possibly. I think we still need like the moment where I feel like the next chapter is gonna again be building up more to the moment of her accepting the hand, and that's kind of like how everything's gonna be done with. Now, I'm not entirely certain if that means this is gonna be the end of everything entirely, and this is just gonna be the epilogue left. In that sense, I kind of feel like there's still an option for Toga to die, even if they do end up befriending it, and I feel like this kind of friendship ending to a fight, which I can already see the outrage, I can already see it, I can already smell it. Like weeks, or I mean a week or whatever is gonna be the ending to it be yet from everyone. But we'll see how this is gonna go. I do still feel like there's gonna be like a moment where I could still see a moment where Toga does something similar to Lady Nagant and uh, Gentle Criminal against Ofuan or Shigaraki, and then she ends up passing away anyways, probably in Ochako's arms or something. Like I don't again, I kind of feel like the League of Villains are gonna have some either the League of Villains are going to be reduced to toddlers, or they are all going to die horribly painful deaths. Which I feel like they'll probably cause the most amount of damage to everyone. Like you almost engulf in fire, and then you almost engulf by armies of murderers. Just kind of I find how this like all went together so quickly. So yeah. Anyways, this chapter was kind of a fun like was pretty. I get the idea, and it's gonna be one of those chapters that's probably gonna hit more in the anime. Not because of the graphic that's because they'll probably have like small little blood blood spells on their bodies, stuff like gulfs of blood. But there will be some, most likely. They, but yeah, not a bad chapter and all. But when you have like the epicness of the Graviton that was going to be, and then like the fight between the epicness and the appearance of the sorry for that noise. That was Dobby's final moments. Here, you just kind of like have to. Are they going to befriend that, or is it going to be something else? Because we are ending this chapter off without them actively holding a hand. I kind of do wonder how much in the next chapter this is gonna be. Although maybe we could end this whole thing next chapter. But then we have like a thing with the chapter's ending is a brace or something. But then there's like a one more page to cut to the next fight or something. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, not a bad chapter, no, and probably a very like emotional chapter, the and all that. But yeah, this is the end. I'm assuming we're approaching the end for this battle, and we'll see how this brings results. But yeah, anyways, I hope you like the chapter reaction. I hope you leave your thoughts in the chapter comments below. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.